The much-awaited second season of The Last of Us is finally here, and we get another look at the haunting post-apocalyptic world and the survivors left behind to fend for themselves following the outbreak. The first season introduced us to the horrors of the outbreak, but much of the story was about the deep emotional bond between Joel and Ellie. Joel, who lost his own teenage daughter, and Ellie, the miraculous immune child, developed a unique father-daughter bond, even though there has been some love lost between them following the climactic events of the first season. In this video, we'll look deeper into the origins of Ellie and bring you more about her real parents and their whereabouts. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How did Ellie find herself in the care of the Fireflies? What happened to her mother? The Last of Us is known to focus on the aspect of human connections quite a bit, and the best example of that is the father-daughter relationship between Joel and Ellie. However, the fans have often wondered about the life of Ellie before she came in contact with Joel. The original game didn't delve into the details of Ellie's mother, and we were left to wonder what she looked like or what her personality was like. The HBO series has explored more on this matter, and we have a better idea about Ellie's origins. In The Last of Us, the only thing we knew about Ellie's mother was through her mentioning about her mom in conversations. She carried a letter and a switchblade that were from her mother. The video game only revealed that Ellie's mother, Anna, was a close friend of Marlene, which is why the latter agreed to look after Ellie after Anna's death. The game had its limitations in exploring what exactly happened to Anna, but the show addressed this void. Even before the show, more on this matter was revealed in the 4-issue comic series, The Last of Us: American Dream, which was more of a prequel that focused on Ellie's life before meeting Joel. This is where fans got to know about her military school upbringing and the other details about her mother, Anna. Marlene told Ellie that she had promised Anna to take care of her, and the show finally gave it a better context. In the 9th episode of the first season, Anna is shown to be heavily pregnant, and Ashley Johnson, who voiced Ellie in the game, plays the role. She's shown to be running away from the clickers before she finds shelter in an old house and goes into labor. She gives birth to Ellie, and when Marlene and the other Fireflies discover her, Anna is already infected. In a miraculous twist, they also realize that her daughter is not infected by the cordyceps, and this raises the first suspicion about Ellie's immunity because of the bizarre circumstances. In her final moment, Anna asks Marlene to protect and care for Ellie, and she promises to do that. This emotional scene is quite a memorable moment because it reveals more about Ellie's birth mother than ever before, but it also made some of the fans question if the scene was strictly canonical. It does, however, fill the gaps in the game lore and the comic book lore, and makes more sense about Ellie ending up with the Fireflies. Eventually, when the Fireflies discover Ellie's immunity, they realize that she could be holding the key to a potential cure to the cordyceps in the near future. This is when Joel is asked to smuggle her across the city, and it starts off as a routine mission for Joel, before it turns into something deeper as he grows attached to Ellie. Some of her features and behavioral traits remind him of his own daughter, and he slowly loves her to the point where he could do anything to keep her alive. This is proven by Joel's massacre of the Fireflies, even after delivering Ellie to them as promised, the moment he learned that the rebel group might be posing a threat to her. What was Ellie's early life like? Ellie grew up during the apocalypse, and this meant that normalcy was far from her life. She grew up inside a Boston quarantine zone, and the only good thing about her childhood was that she was raised in a relatively safe environment. Marlene tried to do her best and provide her with a normal childhood, but the circumstances didn't permit that. Nevertheless, Marlene always kept an eye on her from afar, even though it's never clearly revealed who raised Ellie in the first place. She never had anything close to a parental figure, until she came across Joel, and the situation brought them together. It can be assumed that she was cared for by the volunteers, and her military school days gave her all the sense of normalcy that she could get in such a broken world. She never experienced love and affection or friendship, which is why the prospect of having some friends of her own age to mix with is almost heavenly for her in Season 2. She's all the more irritated by Joel's interference now that she gets to have fun with people her own age. Earlier, she did share a brief friendship with Riley that even turned romantic, but Riley died after being bitten by one of the infected. However, this doesn't take away from the fact that the first signs of love and affection that she experienced was from Joel. She might have endured a harsh childhood, but Joel ensured that she would have none of that any longer. Growing up in such a harsh and irregular environment also impacted Ellie's mental health, and her emotional response to things and lack of compassion at times are probably stemmed from such an upbringing. The absence of her actual parents only made things more difficult for her, and this is probably one of the reasons behind her lack of acknowledgement for Joel's fatherly love for her. Where is Ellie's father? Is he still alive? One of the biggest mysteries surrounding Ellie is the identity of her father. The HBO series doesn't shed much light in this regard, and her actual father is never revealed. It's safe to assume that her father was also from the same community as Anna, and he was probably one of the Fireflies as well. Of course, all of this is nothing but speculation, and there's been no word on this from Naughty Dog or HBO. We don't even know what ultimately happened to him, and whether or not he's still alive and out there. Many fan theories suggest that this was done purposefully to keep the possibility of Ellie's father still being alive. If we're lucky, we might even get further insights on the matter in the ongoing season, and it would be truly dramatic if Ellie's real father finds his way to reach her. Of course, Joel has been nothing short of a loving and caring father figure for her, but he might not be delighted by the prospect of having his daughter taken away from him. If history is any indication, he can go to any length to ensure Ellie stays safely by his side, and it would be interesting to see his reaction if her real father appears and demands to take her away with him. However, keeping all speculations aside, the most likely fate suffered by Ellie's father by now is death. He might even be infected in one of the zombies roaming around outside the safety of this colony, and there's a good chance that the show will never delve further into the matter. If he was actually a Firefly, his fate becomes all the more uncertain, because not only do the Fireflies face a zombie threat, they're also hunted down for their rebel activities. What has caused the relationship between Ellie and Joel to worsen? The first episode of Season 2 suggests that Ellie is not particularly keen on exchanging pleasantries with her father figure Joel any longer. This has troubled Joel so much that he's resorted to seeking therapy, but the animosity from Ellie still remains. There are a few reasons behind their worsening relationship, and the most important one is hidden in the climactic moments of Season 1. Ellie was seen as a key to developing a potential cure for the infected, and her immunity was to be studied by the rebel group, the Fireflies. Unfortunately, this would have required them to kill her for research purposes, and Joel could watch the entire world die if it meant saving the life of the little girl that he'd grown to love like his own. In an action-packed season finale, he killed every single member of the rebel group along with their doctors, who were about to begin the procedure on Ellie, and she was unconscious the whole time. He later chose not to tell her about the exact sequence of events, but something tells us that she has somehow found out about it. This causes her to be disgusted by her supposed father figure, and it doesn't help that he's also overprotective at the same time. He requests his brother to ensure that Ellie doesn't go out on patrol duty, something that she really enjoys, and his act of constantly keeping an eye on her doesn't go down well with her rebellious late-teen personality. We hope that the father-daughter duo will mend their relationship soon enough, because the early indications already suggest greater threats appearing before them in the course of the second season. Marvelous verdict. The infection has evolved, and so has Ellie. We are only into the first episode of the series, and there are already hints of a developed zombie type that is smarter than the ones encountered before. This new kind can strategize and stalk their prey, as we see in the scene where Ellie is attacked by one, and there's a chance that they will soon invade the security of this colony where she resides currently. Ellie, on the other hand, has been considerably influenced by those around her, and she's an angry young lady who enjoys her share of adventures. Her disregard for Joel and his overprotective ways is quite evident, and we hope to see that change in the course of the show. Also, it would be nice to get further insights into her past life and her actual parents, because the fans would certainly love to know what really happened to them that left Ellie in the care of the Fireflies to begin with. Do let us know in the comments below what you think of the first episode of the second season of The Last of Us. Also, tell us what your take is on the story of Ellie's parents and how much of it is really true. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.